Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. I'm Rachel and today I'm going to be showing you how we transformed our kitchen in the past 7 weeks and where we are at currently. So if you're interested in this type of video, then just keep on watching and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy and subscribe to my channel. I usually post clothing related videos, fashion videos, styling videos, and then also I'm getting into doing more home videos now that I own a home. So week 1 was really filled with a lot of just kind of stripping down the kitchen and getting it prepared. So we sanded all of the cabinets and we removed all of the doors, of course, so we could get those also sanded and painted. That first week was also filled with a lot of shopping because we knew that we needed appliances for the kitchen since they did not come with any appliances. So we did a lot of shopping, looking at different options like Best Buy has a kind of discount store. We looked at the regular Jed and Black, we looked at the discounted Jed and Black, we looked at Costco, and ended up finding really good appliances for a cheaper price. And also, because we went with a liquidation option, which means you buy products as is, it meant that we could just go and get the products, or actually got delivered, very quickly instead of having to wait for the whole kind of couple month period that a lot of people have to wait for if you're buying new appliances. So week 2 we did a lot of the painting work. So we primed all of the cabinets and started painting a lot of the cabinets that were easier to get to, because at the same time we were also painting the walls and painting the ceilings to make sure that it just kind of matched the rest of the house. So on the ceilings we used Simply White by Benjamin Moore, and then on the walls we used the same white dove that we're using all over the rest of the house. And for the cabinets, again, that's Natural Cream by Benjamin Moore. And so we got through all of the cabinets and all of the drawers, which was wonderful. So thank you to my mom and to my mother-in-law and to my friend for helping with that. But yeah, super successful. So by week 3, we had completely finished painting all of the cabinets, including the doors. So we were ready to put them back on. And you'll notice when you're looking at them, some of them do seem a little bit off. So we realized that we probably will have to move some of the screws of them because I think that they were always a little bit off, which is totally fine, especially if you just have the cabinets. But when we started adding knobs to them, we could see just how off they were. But it only happened in a couple areas. And the other thing was there were definitely some spots that needed some touch-ups for the paint, but I think that's perfectly normal, especially if you're painting by hand, all these cabinets. So overall, it looked really, really good, and I was super happy with how it turned out, especially with the color. At this point, too, we had also realized that we wanted to change out the backsplash, but because our budget was so low, we knew that we would have to try to find a really good solution, so we ended up finding a square tile secondhand that we were able to get just enough pieces of for just $20 for all the tiles. So here it is kind of laid out with our countertop. So again, these countertops came with the house, so it was not our choice, but we decided to work around it and make sure the colors we pick are complementary. And then the knobs and pulls that we got were both from Amazon, from the same company, and I'll link those down below. But I was super happy with them. They're a champagne brass color, which is perfect for me. I absolutely love this color. I think it's a lot more modern and a lot more of a long-lasting color than like a really bright and like gold type brass. It's just too yellow for me, so this is perfect.
Okay, so today's task is going to be to put the handles onto our kitchen cabinets, which is really exciting. So I'm just trying to kind of figure out how I want to measure them and everything. And then there's one for the cabinet. So this one goes onto your cabinet like that, and then you measure it. So I'm excited. Hopefully this goes well. So we are 4 weeks in, and here's where we're at with the kitchen. So the backsplash has been removed. Jorge went in and removed all of these pieces here. So it used to have the same granite that was on here and it used to be up the wall. But like I said, we're replacing that with a tile. So here is the subway tile that we're using. We're gonna have a staggered, just simple white subway tile. And I don't know if these are called subway tiles if they're squares, but you get the general idea. And the plan is to have the backsplash just go from right under the cabinets all the way down to the countertop down here. And I think that's like about 5 rows, I believe. It's about 5 rows worth of tile. And we picked the white actually because we found it at a secondhand store. So there's a lot of secondhand stores that will hand over tile pieces that are from like collections that didn't get used. So you can usually find actually at a lot of like second store home stores. The one we went to is called Second Use and it's in Seattle. And we got, I think, 200 pieces of tile for 20 bucks. I believe it was 100, or I should say, I think it was like 99 and 98. So just below 200 for $20. So about about 10 cents per piece. My gosh, why can't I do math all of a sudden? About 10 cents per piece, I think, if I'm doing the math correct. But also here, below my shoes that I've been looking for, is some of the backsplash piece. These are the pieces that Jorge removed. The backsplash, we just did that by using a heat gun, and by we I mean Jorge did it. Even though I was planning on doing it before, but he did it without me as a surprise, which was very sweet. So Jorge actually used a heat gun to heat up the granite, and then you let it heat up for about 5 to 10 minutes until it seems like it's coming loose. You run a knife across the top of where the seal is to kind of hold on the granite piece. I will link the video down below in case somebody wants to try it or needs to do it or whatever. I found a really good video though on YouTube that was super helpful, and so Jorge followed those instructions to remove the backsplash, and so now we just have it completely open and it's ready for us to start installing the new backsplash. So in the kitchen we also have this light that was installed. So this is one of also the IKEA lights. And where's the light switch? That's what it looks like. So it brings a lot of natural light. This is one of their LED lights. So you can see it has light actually below and above, but it looks really good. And this is the one that overhangs over the pantry kind of closet area. But I love this. I think it looks so, so good. Eee. So as far as the other one goes, this one's been a little bit more problematic. So when Jorge and his dad were going through and checking the light and taking off the old one, they realized that there was some water damage around the drywall, and so we're not quite sure if it's a leak from the roof or if there's something else going on. We need to take a look at up there and at least, very least, replace the drywall because it could have been an old leak that has already been repaired, or it could be an active leak. So we need to take a look at that and replace the drywall. So there's a little drywall piece right over there. So that is going to be another project. So just kind of another hiccup with the house. So Jorge and his dad went through and they replaced the drywall that's up there, and then they just patched it up. So they're waiting until it dries, and then eventually they're going to sand it and paint over it, and then install the other light that looks like that.
So week 5 was very rough because we just completely tiled the entire weekend. So starting off on a Friday evening, I went and joined Jorge and my sister in tiling the backsplash, and I thought it was going to be easier than it was. We got through about half the kitchen, and then we had to come back the next day and work on it.
Day 2 of our tile project. So this is the bottom. I just went through and I took out all of the little spacers because they need to repurpose some of them, but also because the bottom tiles are completely dry. They've dried overnight, and they obviously don't have the grout inside of them or anything like that, which is going to be white. But we have this left to do, which is right above the stove. I'm guessing there used to be a microwave there, is where you usually would hang your microwave, but we're not doing that, so we want to cover that up. That little corner over here, this section, right over here, and then that'll be it. Okay, from inside the closet. So what I'm doing right now is I am just going to screw this magnet into the bottom and the top so to replace the old ones. Just because the actual cabinet itself, the magnets don't work very well. But I think I should be able to keep the magnets that are on the door, which we actually already painted to match, because those seem to be working fine. So I'm just testing them out. Yep, they work. So we're just gonna go ahead and screw this in.
So after going in and replacing the magnets, then we also went in and Jorge built this wood piece around the inside so that the pocket doors would be hidden, and also that we could install shelves that would be able to be adjustable in case we get a larger microwave. So I went in and I painted the entire inside and also the shelf where the microwave would sit on, and then put in the little shelf holder pieces, whatever those are called. And this is kind of how the final looked at the time.
There's a couple different things that we still need to work on, but it looks really good. And the biggest difference you can tell from just looking into the space is where our fridge is. So we have a new fridge that we got because home did not come with appliances, as we mentioned. And then in the center of that, we got a shelving system that we found at a secondhand store in Seattle that we really love. We got a couple different pieces from there. So we painted that. It was originally white, and we figured it would make a really great temporary pantry, so we have some storage down below. But otherwise, we will put our food eventually in the actual little containers. So I'll do a video on that, like how I end up organizing the pantry. But for now, I'm just using it as kind of like a cookbook storage space, but also all of our loose foods. And then off to the right of that, of course, is our stacked washer and dryer. So finally, here is our beautiful stove. We've been for the longest time having this covered while we worked on the backsplash and all of this stuff. So you can finally see our beautiful stove. And it's from the Cafe line, which is, I think, GE. But it's really nice. We've only used the top so far to cook. We need to go in and adjust the legs. As you can see, it's kind of tilted forward because we haven't adjusted the legs yet. So we'll go in and do that later. This corner right over here, we're gonna put a spice rack in. So we were inspired by an Instagrammer whose handle I cannot pronounce, but her name is Anastasia Casey, and I'll put her handle up here, and I'll also put the inspiration. So she built a spice rack off the side of her fridge, but this is where our fridge used to be, so it's actually the perfect space, and there's a little bit of a gap there anyway, so we wanted to fill that in, and also, again, use as much space and make our own storage as much as possible because it is a smaller kitchen. So now it's time for the big unveiling, which is our coffee cabinet here, and this coffee cabinet we love. We ended up getting it from Habitat for Humanity down south of Seattle, and this used to be probably a TV cabinet is what we assume, but it was the same exact color, same exact style as the rest of the kitchen, but we ended up painting it the same color, which is Natural Cream by Benjamin Moore, and we ended up changing out the hardware as well to match the rest of the kitchen, of course. So we have knobs for the smaller doors, and then we have these that we're using for all the drawers, but we decided to use it for this one because it was too tiny to have little knobs on it, so we figured this is a better option. But when you open it up, and this is not totally done, but close, when you open it up, you can push in the pocket doors, and we have our free microwave. So this microwave we actually found in the garage of the house, and it looks like it had either not been used or like hardly used. It still had plastic on it and stuff, so we've adopted this microwave temporarily. We will get a new one later. And then we have a shelf for our mugs here. We still have to paint this shelf, but it works out perfectly. I think it's about 6 or so inches in width here, so it fits mugs perfectly. And then down below we have our coffee station, so we can pull out our coffee, and we have this wonderful coffee maker. So this is our whole little station, and when it's completely done, the real difference will just be painting this one last shelf, and then it'll be completely finished. So one last honorable mention is the lovely ceiling fan situation. So the house came with this really old fan that right now needs to be cleaned out, but it is like the original fan. Doesn't work very well, clearly, but for now it's going to be fine because we've thought about possibly opening up this wall and making a kitchen island. So if we do, we don't want to put in a full vent hood for no reason, but that's what it looks like. And we also need to go through and continue painting and everything, but that'll kind of finish off the kitchen, is doing all that kind of work.
So right before I was posting this video, my husband ended up actually finishing the sink, which was really great. And what they did was they took out the old sink. They had to cut some new space in the countertop, and they were also able to install a garbage disposal, which was great, and hook everything back up together because originally it was leaking. And the final result looked really, really good. We got our sink off of Amazon. We also got the faucet off of Amazon, so those will be linked down below so you can see them if you're interested. But we went with a really nice, just kind of simple stainless steel large tub sink, and we are super happy with the way that it turned out. So that is the big reveal and the end of the kitchen so far. And I hope you enjoyed this video. There will definitely be more in the future on our kitchen. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my channel as well. And I will see you in the next one. All right, bye.
Time got me at odds. I got words I can't explain.